Welcome back, and in this video we're continuing a remake of the ZX Spectrum classic Jetpack. So now that we've got our rocket, so this is our rocket here, so we're showing the ready to go kind of thing. We need to, so that's going to make sure that's all that there. So once we have it to be ready for takeoff, we need to not do this and do something else. So if last fuel level is not equal to that, do all that. But we also want to make sure that if the state is ready for takeoff, then we need to alternate between the fuel count being full and the fuel count being 0. So yeah, so there's going to be, how do we do this again? There's going to be 6 items there. Yeah, I remember we said we should tidy this up. Okay, let's leave the flashing thing till later on. And what I'm going to do is go down to, put this in 2D just now. And then our rocket manager is there. And where is our rocket? Our rocket gets placed somewhere here. So we go to scene. So this is our rocket here. Rocket part clone, rocket part clone, rocket part clone. Okay. That one there, that one there, and that one there. Okay. So this is our rocket part clone. So I want to copy this transform here, and then I'm going to say I want to have create empty, and I'm going to call this rocket entry zone, and I'm going to paste that position there, so that's going to be there. I'm then going to add a trigger, collider 2D, and then the collider 2D is, I'm not sure what size that's going to be actually, so I'm going to run this here. So I've got my rocket entry zone, and then go to scene. There's the rocket entry zone there, and I want it to be quite tall. And you can see that growing there. Let me see if we can show that. That. What's collider 2D is showing? Okay, you can sort of see it there. If I hide these here, actually, that's not very good. Let me just zoom in so you can see that there, and then I'm going to make that 24. That seems good enough. And then the offset is going to be 8. Where did that go? 0. Where did that go? Oh, went in here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, 8. Okay, so it's in here somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to paste. So that's going to do 8, and that needs to be 24 again. Now, I want to make this a trigger as well, but I don't want to enable the object if we don't have it in scope. So I'm going to have, this is the rocket manager. I need to have public game object rocket entry zone. And then I'm going to drag that into there. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to drag that over into rocket entry zone. And then rocket entry zone, I am going to turn off. So it's going to be off to start with. And then I'm going to do that in here. That says ready to take off. I'm going to say that dot set active true. So when it's active, it's going to be true. Now, I also need it to bubble up something, so I need to write a script in here as well. So I'm going to call this one rocket entry zone, because for lack of a better word. And then I'm going to drag and drop that across into here. And this is just going to have a void on trigger enter 2D if collision.tag equals player. I'm going to say public event handler game object player entered. So if it's the player, I'm then going to say player. Oops. Oh dear, what is going on here? Player entered dot invoke. So maybe it's not been set. We're going to set it, but you never know. This, and then the game object is going to be collision dot game object. We don't need these two lines. And now that we have that, what can we do? We can now go to our Rocket Manager script, and in the start of this rocket entry zone, this is our start here, get component rocket entry zone dot player entered plus equals rocket manager player entered. And then we can do print player entered zone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the rocket parts to be the current level. So fuel level, is that public? Yes, it is. So if I set this to be 6, that should give us the correct thing. So if I set that to be 6, okay, so now that should now be triggered. So if I go to the console, that should print player has entered the zone. Okay, so now that the player has entered the zone, I need to delete the player and then basically start the whole like rocket going into the air. So I need to change this to be the state. So where's state being used? Is it being used anywhere else? State ready for takeoff. Do I actually check state? Oh yeah, here we go. Check state ready for takeoff. We've had pickups, drop items. Okay, so it's fueling, ready for takeoff. Okay, so that's deciding on the rocket. That's the rules of what items to drop. And so if it's fueling, then it's going to drop fuel. If it's not fueling, it's just going to drop random items. Okay, so for our rockets, where are we? For our rocket manager, we need to say this state here. So I'm going to say switch case switch state case in pieces fueling case rocket state ready for takeoff brake and then brake and then for this one here this is in pieces. So this is if it's fueling. Okay, so I'm going to take all this out here, and I'm going to say oh, that didn't work. Why did that not work? Why does it not let me refactor that? There you go, extract method, that's the one I want. Extract method, and then the method is gonna be do fueling. I'll just call it do fuel. Okay, so that is going to be in here. Okay, and then ready for takeoff, we're then going to flash it between the two. Hopefully that hasn't broken anything. So let's make sure that works. We'll just pick up a piece of fuel and drop it in there, and hopefully it just does exactly the same thing as it's done before. There's a bit of fuel there, and we'll drop that in there. Okay, and then if we change that to 3, that should change that to that, and if we change that to 6, that should change that to that, and then we get player entered the zone as well. Okay, cool. All right, so that's that there. Now, if it's ready for takeoff, then what we need to do is destroy E, which is the game object. So kill the player state equals takeoff. So we don't have a takeoff, so I'm going to go to here and then put take off. Okay, so in our rocket manager, we don't really have anything here. So really, in our rocket manager, we don't actually do anything. So what I'm going to do is this has got to tick over. So I'm going to say bool flash equals false. And then I'm going to say var level equals flash. Flash equals not flash. Flash is going to be 6, otherwise it's going to be 0. And then I'm going to say do fuel level. Yield return new wait for seconds 0.5, so it's going to flash every half a second, and then it's going to revert back to that. So level equals that. Okay, so we're not changing the state in here, are we? Oh yeah, okay, so we need to say and state not equal to that. So we don't want to do it if this is the rocket state. So we want to, this is going to set the rocket parts. We could probably split this off and make it a bit neater, but it's a one-off. It's just a wee video game. So we're going to flash this, and then it's going to still have that active. It's still going to set the zone active. So if I set this to 4, and then 5, and then 6, this should then flash this. It's not, but it should. Okay, well that's working. ish. It should flash that there. Why is it not working? The fuel level is not equal to 0. Well, that's why it's not working. Fuel level. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to do this at all. I'm going to do this for each part in rocket parts. Set that to be level. Oh, set fuel count to be 2. Sorry. It's going to be 2. Okay. So fuel count is going to be set to 2. Otherwise, it's going to be set to 0. Okay. And in that way, I don't need to worry about this if statement down here. I can just get rid of that. And then run this. Okay. So we do that. We set this to 4. And then we set this to 6. Oh, it's ready for takeoff. What am I doing? Nope. That's why. So when it's ready for takeoff, that's why. So when we're actually taking off, so when we change the state to takeoff, that means it's not going to flash. So, well, sorry, we still want it to flash. So that still has to be a thing, but we are going to move the rocket up the screen. Okay. So let's set this to 6, well, 5, and then 6. And you see we got it flashing, which is right. And then when we move him in there, that will then send the rocket up the stairs. Not up the stairs, up the screen. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is for all the rocket parts, I need to link them all together. So we have all these rocket parts here. Where are we? Rocket parts. Rocket ID. Fuel level -1. Okay. I made this as complicated as I think I can. Yikes. Okay, so this is our rocket prefab here. So we have these rocket part clones. So for the rocket part clones, where are we? Drop the part. No. Show rocket parts. Parts is top. Parts. Rocket parts. Insert part. Okay. So this is us adding it to there. So what we need to do is add these rocket. I mean, you just want to add those rocket parts to each other and then just move them up the screen. I mean, what we could do is we could just do for each var part in rocket parts part dot transform dot position plus equals vector 3 new vector 3 0 comma and then make it 16 0 times time dot delta time, and then that would just move everything up the screen. per frame. Okay, that's on takeoff. So rocket manager. So if I set that to 6, so we're ready for takeoff, and so I move into there, and it goes up the screen, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So it's got to get to, let's see where this is going to get. Rocket Park clone. Okay, so Rocket Park clone 135. So well, let's make it 136. If part.transform.position.y is greater than or equal to 136, to do load next scene. Okay, and we need to know what screen we're on, but we'll get to that in just a sec. So for each of these parts, we're just going to go up there, and then that, let's make that a different speed as well. So private static read only float rocket take off speed 24, and let's bring that to there. Rocket ceiling private static only float rocket ceiling. There you go. So 136. Okay. So once it gets to 136, what we then want to do is we want to move it to a new screen. So do we have a? We don't really have a game controller here. We've got a rocket manager and a drop manager, but we don't really have a game controller. So the rocket manager really is our game controller. So save player state and move to next scene. So scene manager dot dot load scene game. Is it game? It is game. Yeah, game. And I think we got an error. No, it's gone. Okay. So this should reload the scene. So we'll do 6 here. So it's flashing. Then we move into the player. Rocket takes off. Oh, that was cool. And then book, like that. Okay. Now, if this is starting it, we need to make sure those positions, we need to do this in reverse. So we need to have a landing one as well. So if we go to here, and then let's call it landing, our start position is that, and then the start stationary position is that. So if we look at this one here, that is our init rocket positions. So split rocket is true. Okay. So really what we want to do is our start stationary position is actually our descending position. So that's not actually true, this thing here. So it's going to be new vectors. So, oops. So instead of those ones there, it's going to be 136, 120, and 104. That's going to be our start station positions because we want it to be above the screen. And then we're going to descend to these points. Private vector 3 end stationary positions. And then let's take these out here, put them in here. Why is it not liking that? Oh, that's why. Okay. Right. So that's our start station positions, and then that's our end station positions. And then we're going to have case rocket state landing. So if our rocket's landing, we're going to move the rockets down the screen. So so that's our station position. So rocket parts, blah, 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 state, rocket and PCs, rocket fueling. Okay, so instead of rocket fueling, what we're going to do is landing was fueling. So if we're landing, we want to go through for each bar part in rocket parts. Where are we? What I want to say is I want to go from one place to another and just lerp it. So what I want to do is let's have a private. I don't want a private class. Let me have. I want the part and then the start and end positions. Okay. Just to make it more complicated for myself. Okay, so clear C# script, and then this is going to be rocket part land data naming. Public vector 3 start, public vector 3 end, public rocket part. Okay. And then for this, I'm going to say list data equals new data, and then it's going to be data dot add new end equals end 0, start equals start 0, part equals rocket part, rocket parts 0. Again, this is a bit hacky, but I'm okay with that. Made my peace with this being hacky. because it doesn't really matter. And then for the data part, I'm going to say, where are we? Landing for each var var part in data. I don't even need to know the end of this. It doesn't matter. Dot transform part game object. Actually, transform dot part dot transform minus equals new vector3 0 comma rocket takeoff speed 0 times time dot delta time dot position if part dot transform dot position dot y is less than part dot end dot y, part dot transform dot position equals part dot end. Hope everyone's following this at home. So we're going to move all these. We're going to move all these down at the takeoff speed, and then we're going to check the y position. And if it's less than the part end y, we're just going to set it to the part end. And then at the very end of that, we need to make sure that that's at the end there. So let's say if part dot oops let's also have a public bool done. Bool is done equals false. True. And then we want to say is done part and data. This is a terrible way of doing this, and there's got to be an easier way. And it's 9 o'clock just now, and this is the dumbest way to do it. Answers on a postcard. If you think this is the dumbest way to do it, I'm pretty sure this is the dumbest way to do it. Okay. Is done and equals part dot done. If is done, oh my god, I feel bad doing this, to be honest. So if it's done, then we're going to say state equals rocket state dot in pieces. Right. I mean, if this works, it'll be a miracle. So we're going to go and we're going to move all the parts down the screen. Then we're going to check to see if if all the parts are done. In other words, they've all hit the bottom. And if it is done, then we're going to move it to the pieces there. We're going to move it to you're picking up the pieces. So we should see the rocket descending just now. Nope. Okay. Well, I guess that's because that's not been set up. So that has got to be done. Oh, that's not good. Okay, that's got to be done in show rocket parts. It's got to be that. And then this is going to be rocket part additional. Oof. Okay, and then up here we're going to change that to that and that. Okay. There we go, there's the rocket coming down. Now we need to not have the player active as well while this is happening. Okay, well, good to know that the rocket is backwards. What? Positions. Oh, the top is 0. Oh, okay. Okay. And then we don't want the player to be visible. So I wonder if we have Rocket Manager in here. We do. So we don't want the player to be active, but we also need to know. Eesh. This is why we should have a game controller. Okay. Because we need to know how to make this active or not. Okay. I think what I can do is I've got the update there, and I can check to see if it's active. So I can say if rocket state.instance, rocket manager.instance.state equals landing, return. So in other words, don't do anything. So just show the player, but don't actually let them do anything. See, that's not working now. So hopefully this is gonna work. Okay, so now that it's working, that didn't work for that one. Rocket Manager is done. State equals in pieces. Oh, state should be fueling, that's why. Haha. That's why. State should be fueling. Okay. So the rocket falls. It's a wee bit faster than that. And now we get refueling. Okay. And the whole thing starts again. So let's do the full thing. So we've got our fuel here. We add it to there. damn it. Shouldn't be able to pick up the fuel again. There's a bug. Oh, damn it. That shouldn't collide into that either. Okay, well, at least it still fuels. That should probably just fuel. No, you gotta drop it in. Here we go. Yeah, that's not so good. It shouldn't have to drop in from there. It should just pick up. So yeah, there's a couple of bugs. Okay, so that's that. Doing that. Right, come on. So that's that there. And so we obviously have a okay. So now that that's there, that should flash, and then we should enter it. The rocket should take off, which is what it does. And then when it gets to the top of the screen, reloads, and then does that. Okay, and we need to turn the player off. So what I'm going to do is inside locomotion, I'm going to check to see if the state is not landing, but also where's the locomotion? Okay, so we've got the rigid body and then walk right. Okay, so it's the first one there. Sprite renderer. Okay, so that's not the parent one. Okay, so what I can do is I can say where are we? I can have a public game object sprite. It's not really the sprite, it's the let's call it shape. And I can say when you're awake, shape.setActive false. And then when this changes, I want it to do something else. Well, okay. Otherwise, shape.setActive true. Let's see if shape active in hierarchy. If it's not active in hierarchy, set it to be active in hierarchy. Otherwise, don't do anything. And we set that to be false. And we set that to be landing. Okay. So for Jetman, we want to add Jetman there. We want to add walk right there. Okay, is the shape. So it should land, which is right. We need to speed that up though, because that is so slow. And then we've got our lunar Jetman. Perfect. Okay, and then we got our fuel. Drag the fuel in there. Rocket manager, and then make the fuel level 6. And drop down. And there we go. We've got our part. And then that takes off, and then boom. And that's quite smooth. Okay, let's make that a little bit faster. So we'll go back to our rocket manager. Let's see if we can make that 48. See if that's a wee bit fast. I'll just check it. Okay, things are looking good. So we'll go to Rocket Manager, change that to 6, and then head over to here. All right, that's a little bit nippier. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. Nice. All right. I think we've got everything we need to set up for today. I think we'll stop there, unless there's something else I can think of. I don't think there is. Yeah, let me just check my handy dandy notes here. Jetman entering the ship. Yep. Jetman takes off, and the spaceship lands. All right, that is exactly what I wanted it to do. And I think that's enough for today's video.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it the old thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it the old thumbs down. Leave a comment below as well. All of these things help rises up in the YouTube algos, and I really appreciate it because it really drives the channel forward a little bit. And as always, if you did enjoy this, you got this far, and you want timely reminders of when I put new videos up, then don't forget to hit the old subscribe button and notification bell, and YouTube will work its algorithms and give unto you these videos, whatever, or not. It's up to you. It's a free country. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.